I'm Warren Law, and I've had the privilege for the last year of being the chair of the board of directors of the West Park Health Center, and it's as chair that I have the privilege to preside over this meeting. For those of you that may have met me, you've probably come to the conclusion this is not my style to do a thing behind a podium, and but you know, this is what chairs of annual general meetings do, and you got to look really corporate. So I brought my glasses, which I'm going to have to use because I can hardly see what I've got to read. And I'm going to follow a script, and I really apologize for that because this is not my style to just follow a script. But you don't, if you're the chair of an annual general meeting, you don't want to have things fall through the cracks because you got to do a lot of legal kind of stuff. And so to appease the lawyers, I'm a lawyer, I'm going to stick pretty close to the script, and so in a sense it's going to be kind of boring for the next 20 minutes or so, and I've got to read things, so I apologize for that, but maybe there'll be a chance for a joke or two, or some fun, but I do appreciate your coming to the meeting, and let's get started. So I have to put my glasses on, because I got to read a script. They told me I have to read a script. And we'll call the meeting to order. I'd like to call the annual general meeting of the members of West Park Health Care Center and welcome everyone, members, staff, physicians, volunteers, patients, and invited guests. And for some fun, I thought it would be a good idea that we do a video. It's not a rock video, but it's near and dear to my heart because it deals with West Park. Over to you, Vince.
It was kind of difficult. At times it was frustrating because you want to do things, but you just can't.
He suffered a subarterial hemorrhage, went into seizures, got him to the hospital straight away. My dad had never suffered a seizure before. We were told that there may be deficits that would be long-term as a result of the hemorrhage.
I think my brain, I get back most of it. I could remember most of the stuff that happened before this. But during that short period of time, it was like a blur. If my daughter doesn't tell me what happened, I can't remember.
You know, when he arrived to West Park, his mobility was incredibly limited, where he was walking with a walker, he wasn't speaking, he couldn't articulate his needs at all. I mean, West Park was fundamental in helping him overcome his mobility challenges, helping him with his comprehension. It was all leading into the direction of getting him home, getting him back to work, getting him back to his daily routines, just a normal life. The person that we've known, the person who's my father, honestly, without West Park, he wouldn't be the person he is today.
It's a great feeling knowing that you have your father there who you started working with like from inception, that he is continuously there while you're doing the day-to-day operations of the business. They brought him back to being dad.
Eventually we were able to bring him home. That day coming home was one of the happiest days in my life. West Park did a wonderful job with him, and I'm happy he's here with us.
So getting Arnold back home, getting Arnold back to his life, giving Arnold his life back. That's all about West Park, isn't it? And it's just so neat. It really is. Okay, back to the boring stuff. I would ask you to turn your attention to the meeting agenda and the annual report. This is the legal stuff that will form the basis of what we've got to do today. And to this effect, for members of the corporation, please refer to the annual general meeting materials in your packages. So, there was, in accordance with the center's bylaws, that sounds really legalistic, notice of the annual general meeting was circulated to all members on June 6th. A copy of the notice can be found in your packages. And since more than 10 days notice was given, I confirm that this is a duly constituted meeting of the members. First thing that we have to do is consider minutes of the previous meeting. Do you know where you were on June 23rd, 2016? I hope you were here, because that was when we had our last annual general meeting. And the minutes of the June 23rd, 2016 AGM are included in your packages. There's a motion that we need to have approved for the minutes. The motion reads that the minutes of the annual general meeting held on Thursday, June 23rd, 2016 be approved as circulated. Can I entertain a motion? Monica, by Molly, all in favor? Thank you. And then we go on to the report of the Center Board Chair and President. And for this, I would ask Anne Marie Mallett, the President and CEO of West Park Health Center, to deliver the highlights of the joint report of the Center Board Chair, which is me and you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Warren. It's my pleasure to deliver this report on behalf of both the chair and myself. At West Park, we continue to draw inspiration from our patients, whose courage and determination enable them to realize their potential while facing life-changing health challenges. And you saw evidence of that in the video. Our patients motivate us each and every day to deliver on our vision and the strategic priorities of the center. In the past year, we were very proud that our neurological rehabilitation service received and achieved Accreditation Canada's Stroke Distinction status. This distinction formally recognizes the excellent work that is done by the entire stroke rehabilitation team. By participating in the accreditation process, we benefit from the opportunity to assess our program here at West Park against national standards, ensuring that we're delivering on our commitment to provide exemplary care to our patients. One of our top strategic priorities is to create an integrated campus of care. And this year, we achieved 3 notable milestones with our campus development project. First, and most significantly, we completed our Stage 3 submission. That is the final planning document that outlines the project vision and the architectural, technology, design, and landscape features that we want to incorporate into the new hospital. Submitted to the Ontario Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care in October, the Stage 3 submission represented the collective effort of more than 450 patients, family members, employees, physicians, and volunteers. We were truly thrilled with the level of engagement of the center and its staff and physicians and volunteers, patients and their families, in helping us to put this submission together for the ministry. In February, West Park and Infrastructure Ontario announced the 3 pre-qualified teams who will be bidding to design, build, finance, and maintain our new 6-story, approximately 730,000 square foot facility. Very large facility. The shortlisted teams submitted their proposals in response, of course, to the request for qualifications that we issued last fall. And finally, in March, we received zoning approval from Toronto City Council following a very complex and lengthy consultation process that began last July with community and stakeholder input. This zoning amendment means that we can move full steam ahead with our new building project. We are thrilled to see that this multi-year initiative that has been in the works for now just over a decade is moving forward on schedule. We also have a strategic priority to enhance our financial capacity to thrive, both now and into the future. And in 16-17, we were again delighted to achieve a surplus position despite very significant financial constraints and growing demands for our services. By managing the center's resources carefully, which is definitely a team effort that calls on the leadership of everyone in the organization, and by optimizing our operations through analytics, investing wisely, and so on, we are safeguarding our financial capacity to thrive into the future. Our ability to deliver on our strategic priorities wouldn't be possible without the unwavering commitment, determination, talent of our staff, our medical staff, and our volunteers. Together, we're all driven towards exemplary care that does help our patients get their life back. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna Marie. I really like those sunglasses. So we're on a roll. It was a really good year. We're on a roll. We're getting closer and closer to the new hospital. And we all play a role in that process. And let's keep up the momentum. Let's keep up the successes. I'm going to now ask for the report of the Chief of Staff and Chief Nursing Executive. And to this effect, I'd ask Barb Bell to come up. And there she is. Give the report.
Great, thank you. It's my pleasure on behalf of Dr. Cullen and myself to read you the report, Advancing Excellence in Exemplary Care. Last year we continued to advance excellence in exemplary care with several impressive achievements. I think what's most notable is our accreditation status of stroke distinction. This was an excellent achievement, and it's one that we should be very proud of. It is a rigorous program, and the fact that we did an excellent job, I think, should be noted, and the neuro rehab team should be commended for their commitment and dedication to the work and to providing stroke rehabilitation. Before the medical assistance in dying legislation was passed last June, we were already planning how best to meet the needs of our patients requesting assistance in dying. We established a policy that is currently, well, actually it's not under stakeholder review. I'll just give you a bit of an update. The board passed the policy today. And so for those of you in the clinical services, I would imagine before the end of day today or the latest tomorrow morning, we'll forward that policy. I just want to say a couple of words about our steering committee because we've had a tremendous steering committee. This is a very difficult subject matter. It's very new in health. It's very new to us. We've had an interdisciplinary committee with 3 or 4 physicians, social work, psychology, spiritual leadership, nursing, I'm going to miss one, but I shouldn't, care coordination. As well, we've had a patient advocate and pharmacy is on the committee. We've had definitely interdisciplinary committee, and I have to say they've been tremendous in this work. And then all of you that have also been on the different stakeholder committees where the policy has gone for approval. It's been some tough work, but I think we've gotten there, and the policy will evolve. Legislation is changing. Some of you may be aware that just the other day there was some information that came forward through the court system on medical assistance in dying to provide a little bit of clarity to definitions. So this is something that we will see over the next decade evolve. In our nursing practice, we've made 2 significant improvements. First, we increased our capacity to provide care to patients with complex health issues by increasing the number of regulated nursing hours per patient day. And secondly, there's been some change in legislation with respect to the nurse practitioners. The Nursing Act has increased their authority, and they are now able to prescribe controlled substances, which actually change their role with respect to the medical assistance in dying. I'm very proud to say that our 2 nurse practitioners, in advance of the legislation, advance of the regulation going into effect, completed the approved educational requirements, because there are educational requirements from the College of Nurses in order to be able to prescribe controlled medication. So kudos to our 2 nurse practitioners. They're ready and able to fulfill that role. We also completed our 6th annual quality improvement plan. These are measures that we put forward to look to improve, and targets that are established. In 16-17, 6 of our 8 indicators either exceeded, performed at target, or within corridor. For example, we completed a best medication discharge plan for 90% of patients, which is 5% higher than our baseline. We're also pleased to see that there were 176 outpatient visits in our geriatric day clinic, which is significantly higher than our baseline estimate of 100 visits for the first year of its operation. So kudos to the teams and our capacity to be able to provide service to our patients. We had 2 indicators I mentioned that didn't quite make target, and I have to tell you, we set some pretty high targets, so I don't see this particularly as something that's negative. It's just part of our journey. One of these targets was with respect to discharge summaries, and so really the purpose of that work is to decrease the time it takes from a patient being discharged to that clinical information getting to their primary care practitioner. And so we set a corridor of 89 to 94%, and we achieved 86%. This is an indicator that we have seen great improvement over the years, and we have had an indicator on this subject matter over the last 6 years. This year, for 17-18, the province has made this a priority. So this is something that I think we've had sort of a leg up, and we've set some pretty high targets. We're actually changing the indicator, so instead of 3 business days, we're expecting to get the information out within 2 business days. In order to support our physicians and practitioners to get this information out, we'll be piloting an electronic discharge summary, hopefully sometime this summer. The other indicator that fell below, slightly below, and I mean a 0.1 below, is an indicator that we actually excel at provincially. So it's something I think we have to be very proud of. This is an area of work where many people involved, and this relates to the number of daily hours of stroke rehabilitation therapy. And so we reached 2.4 hours per patient day, and we set a target of 2.5 to 3 hours. But I must tell you that provincially, the provincial medium is 1.09 hours per patient day. So we provide significantly more than what you see across the province. Finally, we also embedded a palliative care program into our services and developed a patient and family engagement strategy. We look forward to increasing patient and family engagement at a variety of levels to keep improving West Park's programs and services. Thank you.
Thank you, Barb. We have an extremely strong professional staff at West Park, and this is one of the reasons why the reputation of West Park is so absolutely glowing. And on behalf of the board, I thank Nora. I thank you, Barb, for the leadership that you have shown over the last year. As you probably know, Barb is moving on to the Lynn, and so I just wanted to make a comment here at the annual general meeting about the enormous impact you have had on West Park for the good, and thank you very much, and all the best at the Lynn. Okay, we'll go on. We have a report from the Foundation Board. And Joanne, over to you.
Well, thank you, Warren. I'm reporting this morning on behalf of John Freeman, the chair of the Foundation Board of Directors, who is unable to be here today. 2016-17 was another good year for the West Park Foundation, as it prepared to meet its ambitious campaign goals in support of the new hospital. It was the first full year of our $80 million Get Your Life Back campaign to support the costs of the new hospital, and I'm pleased to say we made good progress. We received generous contributions from 4 of 5 of Canada's largest banks, We held 2 celebrations here, for 2 of them, a $500,000 gift from RBC and an $800,000 gift from TD. We also celebrated generous gifts of $150,000 from Menkes Developments and from Deloitte $100,000. Together, these gifts will have a major impact on supporting our new hospital and various services within that hospital. The campaign is also set to become much more visible this summer. Visitors to the hospital will see both indoor and outdoor banners and will feature the Get Your Life Back brand for the campaign. We held a very successful Chairs Invitational Golf Tournament on August 30th at Glen Abbey Golf and Country Club. In addition, we launched 2 new signature events designed to better respond to market preferences and to raise the awareness of the hospital among our broader networks. Uncork, Untap, Unwind was one of those events that we held in November. 350 guests enjoyed food by famed chef Mark McEwen. We had wine, whiskey, and beer tasting. We had great entertainment, all in the historic distillery district in Toronto. We're holding Uncork again this year. It's said to be bigger and better. It's going to be at the Drake Hotel on November 9th, and we are selling tickets. Tournament of Stars, a celebrity basketball tournament, was held on the 31st of March and April 1st at the University of Toronto. We had NBA alumni, including former Raptors and other celebrities. There were 12 energetic teams, and I have to say that it was the West Park team that fundraised for the most money. They had over $27,000. The other team that was fantastic was Dan Simonak's team. Dan's team won the competition, or at least won every game in the competition. And we look forward to the tournament this year. Dan has taken on the chairmanship, and believe me, he's a rigorous chair. We're glad for that. We're glad for that rigor. So we really appreciated everybody's efforts, and we look forward to doing that again. Next year's tournament is going to be on the 23rd of March, 23rd and 24th. So if you didn't get a chance to come out to that this year, you really should. We had a great time. It was a great community event. We had, I think, 3 or 4 dogs on the West Park team. So it was just a great community feel. This spring, the Foundation completed an application for the Imagine Canada Standards Program. So this is the highest standard that fundraising organizations like ours are held to in the country. And so we were happy to get that application in at the end of March. And we expect to be able to proudly have the trust mark on all of our materials beginning in the fall of this year. So thank you everyone for your support over the course of the year. It really does take a community to build a hospital, and certainly the West Park community has been very responsive to us. Thank you.
So there are a lot of ingredients that go into building an excellent hospital. We got the professional staff. We got the foundation that is trending upward, and the momentum is building. Another reason why we are successful and will continue to be successful is because West Park is well managed from a financial standpoint. And that's obviously really important. But it's really a challenge too, because of the fact that the province has a lot of places they can spend their money. And so it's always a challenge to get enough funding from the province and from other sources to carry on the good work that we do at West Park. But we manage our finances extremely well. And the next thing on our agenda is a report on how well we do manage our funds. Kim Marshall is our treasurer. She unfortunately couldn't be here today. So I've asked Jim Leon, the vice chair, to give the finance report. Over to you, Jim.
Thank you, Warren. That was a good segue from the boring stuff to the really exciting numbers. Oh, Anne-Marie stole some of my thunder.
This is the most exciting part of the meeting. So hold your chairs.
So I'm pleased to report that for the fiscal year ended March 31, 2017, West Park Healthcare Centre had revenues in excess of expenses of $1,297,000. That was actually up on the slide that Anne-Marie had earlier. This marks the 15th consecutive year that the centre has ended the year in a positive position, which is a very significant accomplishment. On behalf of the board, I I'd like to offer our congratulations to the West Park team for this excellent financial stewardship. I would now draw your attention to a number of specific items from the Centre's 2017 financials. In this regard, I would ask the members to refer to their copy of the audited financial statements. The first item of note is the restricted cash figure on the balance sheet of approximately $4.9 million. This represents the unspent balance of the Campus Development Planning Grant received from the Ministry of Health in the prior fiscal year. As indicated in Note 7, capitalized spending on campus development now stands at just under $13.1 million, as we move gradually closer to putting the shovel in the ground for our new building. Note 19 of the financial statements also outlines the current commitments and significant contracts related to campus development. The Centre ended the year with net assets of $20.4 million. Of this year's surplus, the Board elected to restrict an additional $550,000 for its share of campus redevelopment, as contemplated in the Centre's submission to the Ministry. This brings the total amount restricted for the Centre's share of local share of redevelopment to $10,825,000, as indicated in Note 6. And finally, Note 17 underscores the ongoing importance of both the long-term care center and the business operations in balancing our books and meeting our local share commitments. Moving on to the auditor's report, the Executive Committee met with the auditors and management to review the audit process for 2016-17 and the draft audit statements. The auditors have issued an unqualified audit opinion. The financial statements and the audit report were received by the Board at its May 26 meeting. The Executive Committee and the Board recommend to the members the approval of the 2016-17 audited financial statements. I would now be pleased to answer any questions.
Okay, Jim, thank you. So we're in good shape from a financial standpoint. Now, at an annual general meeting, you got to do certain things to complete the financial picture. And one is the approval of the financial statements for the year. Jim noted the fact that we received an unqualified opinion from our auditors, PricewaterhouseCoopers. You would think unqualified, that could mean different things, but in financial circles, that's a really good thing. That means there wasn't anything that the auditors have detected that would cast doubt on the financial situation of the organization. So we need a motion to approve the financial statements. The motion is that the audited financial statements for the year ended March 31st, 2017 be received and approved by the members of the corporation. Is there anyone who would like to move that? Carol? Okay. And Dan? All in favor? Okay. I'm having more fun in front of the podium. Is that okay? Like, I don't do very well back there. It just feels fun. Another thing that we have to do at an annual general meeting is to reappoint the auditors. The auditors are PricewaterhouseCoopers. They have an engagement with us till next year, 2018, but it's subject to annual reappointment, so we have to go through this process each year. So we're happy with Pricewaterhouse. They're happy with us. And so I think there's going to be a motion. Yes, there's a motion to have Pricewaterhouse appointed for the year. That PricewaterhouseCoopers be hereby appointed as auditor for the corporation until the next annual general meeting of the corporation at a fee fixed by the directors being hereby authorized to fix such remuneration. Anyone would like to move that? Monica? Seconded by Catherine. All in favor? Thank you. Another thing that happens at an annual general meeting is that from time to time, bylaws, which are the rules of an organization, get changed. The board of directors approves them or disapproves them, but if they approve them, then by law they have to go on to the annual general meeting to be confirmed. Okay? So we have a technical change that was made over the years to the professional staff bylaw 2E. And as per the agenda memorandum in your packages, professional staff bylaw provides for the regulation of certain professional staff of the center, including physicians, dentists, and extended classes of nurses who who are not employees of the center. On the recommendation of the Medical Advisory Committee, professional staff bylaw 2C has been amended to allow for the reappointment of a clinical fellow from time to time for further periods in each case not to exceed 12 months. So this just gives the center the opportunity of bringing in clinical fellows for appointments that go on, and that's about it. It's a really technical thing, don't worry about it. So I'm going to read a motion to that effect. The resolution to confirm the amendment to the bylaw was included in your packages, and it reads that bylaw number 2D being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2C. I'm sorry, I just kind of laugh when I read legal stuff. The corporation is hereby amended, confirmed as a bylaw of the corporation, and the secretary of the board is authorized to prepare a new version of the bylaw incorporating the above changes. And it's my pleasure. Let's leave it at that. That's enough. Can we have a? Can we?
I will move that.
Monica, Carolyn, all in favor? That's. Now back to serious stuff. And Jen, one thing that we have to do is we have to thank Baha, who has been a member of the board for a number of years, and he has decided to retire. And therefore, I want to thank him publicly, and this will be reflected in the minutes of the meeting. He played a tremendous role in the work of the board over the last 7 years, and he was very active on the foundation side as well. And we're going to miss him terribly. But I wanted to thank him publicly, and that is what we're doing here. So we've done that, and that provides a segue. We have an opening. And at annual general meetings, you have to elect boards of directors. And so this is what we're going to do now. And members will find the slate of nominees in item 10.0 of the annual general meeting materials. For 2017-18, there is one vacancy, as I mentioned, to be filled as a result of Baha's retirement. And it's my pleasure to present the nominees for election for directors for 2017-2018. The proposed slate of directors fulfills the requirement of the bylaws and ensures that the board can function according to the bylaws. And I would ask each of the individuals present to stand as I call your name. So, we've got members who are standing for election for a 3-year term, and they include Susan Armstrong, David Keddy is also standing for 3 years, but he's not here today. We have nominees who are standing for a term of 2 years. One of them is Jim Leon, and another one is Susanna Hahn. Susanna is new to the board. She is effectively replacing Baha. She comes tremendously qualified. She's a professional accountant by profession, and has experiences which will be very, very important to us as we proceed with the redevelopment project. And she has exhibited tremendous enthusiasm and energy for West Park. She's been active in the foundation. She chairs the golf tournament, which is near and dear to my heart. And so I'm just delighted that she's coming on the board. We also have nominees for election to the board for a 1-year term. Someone named Warren Law, Catherine Novick, Chris Henley, who's not here today. He was the former chair, and we have Professor Molly Lair. Okay, so those are the members that are standing for election this year, and the motion that we need to have considered is that the nominees identified be elected to the board of directors of West Park Healthcare Center for the terms as presented, and that the secretary be instructed to cast a single ballot in favor of those nominated. I'm pleased so that's the resolution that's before the meeting. If I could have a motion to carry it. Carolyn, seconded by Charlie. All in favor? Thank you. And and Madam Secretary will cast the ballot to that effect. Okay, there are others who are not standing for election because their term has not ended, but I want to introduce them. With 2 years remaining, we have Monica Garanzagi, right here. We have Daniel Sunak, the basketball guy. We have Charlie Ray. And with 1 year remaining, we have Kim Marshall, who couldn't make it today, Terry Brown. We have Carolyn Shashelsky, there she is, and Dee Patterson. All right. I didn't know what page I was on. Anyways, I'm pleased to introduce the following ex officio directors, which complement the members of the board. We have Anne-Marie Malik, who's of course President and CEO. Dr. Nora Cullen, who's the Chief of Staff. And we have Vika Ramjeet Dillon, who's the President of the Professional Staff Association. Okay, and John Freeman, also, who is the Chair of the Board of the Foundation. He is elected here too. So, subject to election by the board at the meeting immediately following the AGM, the officers of the corporation will be the Chair, me. So we have a strange annual general meeting next year too, but bear with me. We have Charlie Ray, who's going to be the Vice Chair going forward. We have Kim Marshall, who's going to be the Treasurer, and the President and Secretary will be, of course, Anne-Marie. And following individuals will also serve as National Sanatorium Association nominees. Myself, Chris Henley, and Catherine Miller. Okay. And Professor Molly Verrier will serve as the University of Toronto nominee, as she has faithfully done for many years. Okay. Going on, we're almost through the agenda, thank God. One thing that I want to do, though, is to thank Jim Leon. Jim has served as Vice Chair for the last year, and he has been intimately connected with the project, redevelopment project, because he has chaired the campus development committee. And I just want to thank you very, very sincerely for the work that you have done. Tremendous job, tremendous contribution to the center. Thank God he's staying on the board. Thank goodness he's going to continue to chair the CDC, because we need to chair. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're going to find out about Patty. Who's Patty? Who's Patty?
She's an ant patient. Let's hear her story.
Okay.
So I was pregnant with my third child. It was early 2007, and I found a little lump on the bottom of my foot. I thought it was a plantar's board, so I just left it. But then as I got bigger into my pregnancy, it became a lot more painful, and I didn't understand why I had such a hard time walking. And then they just told me, like, we have cancer. It had little tricklings up where the kneecap is, and they just said the best thing to do was just to remove it from above the knee. I'll never forget that day. It was like devastating. I just lost my mind. Because, you know, for 33 years of my life, I was like an able-bodied person. And all of a sudden, I'm not going to be able-bodied anymore. I can't do what I used to do before. I didn't know anything about rehab with regards to being a disabled person. If you lose your leg, I didn't know there was a whole process that was all involved when you become a disabled person. So they sent me to West Park. I think the program at the time was about 6 to 8 weeks. Once I left West Park, you're given a training leg. So I went home with a training leg, and they gave me a quote for my definitive leg, which was an exorbitant amount of money. And unfortunately, my insurance company wasn't going to pay for it. They considered it a luxury item. It was faster for me to get around on crutches than to try and kind of limp with my training leg, which was super duper uncomfortable. In all of my life, the one thing that I always wanted was to just walk my kids to school. It was the one thing I wanted more than anything on this earth. I started working for this couple, my neighbors, and then I would come into work and they were like, Patty, how come you don't have a leg? And I'm like, because I can't afford one. So like, well, why don't we get you a leg? Why don't we just try and crowdfund it? It literally changed the course of my life. And once I got the funds, then I was like, okay, I guess it's time to go to West Park and get a cold. And the crazy thing with me going back to West Park was every single nurse that was on the floor when I went back to West Park 9 years later, they were the same nurses that helped me when I lost my leg when I first came there. The staff were amazing, absolutely amazing. They were like moms, right, when you're there, so you just felt really comfortable. It's almost like a second home, and it's almost like it's your extended family. Because when you go there, it doesn't seem out as this gaming place. When I go there, I know that things are changing and things are progressing for the better. It was such a big deal. I put my leg on, and it was like a beautiful day, first day of school in the fall. And I just remember, I'm like, this is really happening. I'm like actually gonna walk my kids to school. Then I just remember I got to the school and I got to see them off in their line, and I just hugged them, and I was like, I couldn't stop crying. In all of my life, the one thing that I always wanted was to just walk my kids to school. It was the one thing I wanted more than anything on this earth. And if I died the next day, it would be okay because I walked my kids to school. I got my life back from that place, and everything moving forward is just so much better. It's not, oh my God, I'm going to West Park to be a civil person. Like, no, I'm going to West Park to get my life back and be an able-bodied person.
She got her life back. She got her life back. But the thing that I really liked about that vignette is the fact it talked about you guys. The staff were amazing. But the amazing thing is that wherever I go, and to whomever I talk about West Park, it's always the same thing. The staff were amazing. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everything. Okay?